Hi, I'm Aurora, and you're tuned in to Climate Action Figures.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of Season 2 of Climate Action Figures. Can you tell that I'm excited about this? In case we have not yet met, my name is John Whidden, and this week on the show you will get to meet Aurora. Today's quick fix comes from Matthew in Calgary, who says, be aware of your local thrift store. Some are purely for profit, and others, like Good Neighbor Thrift Store in Calgary, are a little different. We went to the website and checked out Good Neighbors, and it says on their website, take what you need, leave what you can, and pay what you want. It also says, unfortunately, that they closed on September 21st. But they're going to have pop-up thrift stores, so that one you can't go to, but other ones you can. I think Matthew's point is, though, that we should be careful about thrift stores because some are for profit and some are like this one that send a lot of money to homeless folks and other great causes. Let's get on with today's episode. Welcome, Aurora.
Hi.
What do you think about that quick fix from Matthew?
I think that's a really good, organization. I think it's a really good idea for thrifting.
You said that you might talk later in the podcast about that as your climate action. So we'll come back to that in a little while. But first, you are a grade 9 student in Calgary region, correct?
Yeah.
And how is school going so far this year?
It's very crowded.
Crowded, okay. Yeah, a lot of people are finding that.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of school or outside school, what kind of things interest you?
Well, I skateboard, I thrift, and I like to draw and do art, so.
Now, moving back to the environmental theme, I've heard a number of young people these days say, I did not create this climate problem, and they saddle that responsibility on previous generations. I'm curious to know if you're hearing that kind of message from your peers.
A lot of people in my school, they're kind of scared of climate change and like all that stuff. But a lot of what I've been hearing when it is brought up in conversation, it's mostly been like, it's not our fault. Why should we care? It's the older generation's fault.
Right. So when you hear that attitude of it's not my fault, I didn't bring this, so why should I care? I shouldn't need to do anything about it. Do you think that's a fair comment?
No, because a lot of these kids, they contribute to it as well. Like, they're planning to go into like oil and gas and stuff like that. So I'm just like, okay, if you're going to do that, you might as well give an effort or something.
So is that a useful frame of mind, or is there a different way you would suggest that your age group look at that problem?
I would agree with them that it's not our fault, but we do have to like pitch in and like help because the older generations are going to like, I don't know, they won't be here forever to fix their mistakes. So it's kind of up to us to deal with it and fix it for the future generations. Because eventually our kids will just blame it on us that we didn't do anything.
Right. So become a part of the solution.
Yeah.
How about your specific friend group? Are they particularly environmentally minded?
I would definitely say my friends like care about the environment, but they're not as like engaged with it as I am.
Okay. So what led to you specifically being engaged in environmental thinking?
My mom.
Do you want to tell us a bit about her?
She's she's a guide for an wilderness organization, and she goes hiking a lot, and she'll often bring me along. Since I was like, I don't know, since I was born, she would take me hiking. So I kind of got like abducted into the environmental world. It's not a bad thing though. It's fine.
Good.
I'm still here, so it's all good.
Actually, that's how we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was on one of those hikes with a First Nations elder teaching us all kinds of things, and we met. And then you said you'd be interested in coming on the program, so that's great.
Yeah.
So after your abduction, did you feel that you started to take on some of those ideas that your mom has held for a long time?
Yeah, my mom is a very smart lady, so I kind of follow in her footsteps a lot. So I care about, if she cares about the environment, I care about the environment.
That's great. Now you're a grade 9 student, so your mother must drive you crazy sometimes, though, too, right?
Yeah, sometimes. I think I drive her crazier, but
Okay, it's a mutual thing.
yeah.
Uh, Around environmental things, or
No, mostly just normal teenage stuff, I guess.
so you've watched her do these environmental things, and you've really taken on some of that yourself.
Yeah.
Do you see in the future going down some sort of a career path that might jive with that concept?
I don't personally think I would do that, but I would definitely be like environmentally mindful for when I'm older. Like, I would not get a job in oil and gas or something like that. No. The career path I want to follow is like psychology. So I might incorporate like wilderness or something in there, I guess.
Yeah, there's lots of potential for healing and processing things with the environment in mind, right?
Hmm.
Now, back to your school. Does your school have particular environmental programs or clubs?
Well, I'm part of the wildlife club at my school. Well, like I'm part of the CTF option, which is like we go mountain biking and stuff like that. So we're out in wilderness a lot.
And what does CTF stand for?
It's like your options, like your elective
Oh,
classes.
okay. And so you get to go do a lot of outdoor education type things in that
Yeah,
option.
yeah.
And how about environmental clubs that are specific to looking at solutions for environmental issues? Anything like that at your school?
Not really, which is weird. I've definitely heard my principal and all like the authority figures in my school talk about like climate change, but there's no clubs for it, which is weird. Because I don't know, I feel like if you're going to be environmentally mindful as a, I don't know, administrative team at a school, you should have something like that.
When you hear the adults in your school talking about climate change, how does that come up and how does that come out?
It's usually in like a don't be stupid in the wilderness, be mindful, recycled, stuff like that. And we have to fix climate change, be part of it.
Okay, you hear that fairly regularly from the leadership in your school?
Yeah.
Are there any particular courses in your school that focus on climate stuff?
I guess in like science class, we have stuff like that. Like we talk about pollution and like climate change, so like greenhouse gases. Outdoor ed, we talk about it a little bit, like taking care of wildlife, trying not to destroy their habitat. I remember in class this week, we learned about the Bear 71 project, if you know what that is.
Yeah, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
So it's an interactive documentary about Bear 71 and how she got captured and like human impact on wildlife and bears in like the Canmore, like Banff area. And it's actually really sad. So I'm just gonna tell you, like, disclaimer, it's pretty sad.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Like, it made me, I don't know, cry a little bit. I thought it was pretty sad. But it's definitely good to watch for future. Like, if you wanna learn about your environment, or if you live in the Kananaskis country, learn about how to take care of bears, definitely check it out.
Well, that sounds great. So you recommend Bear 71?
Yeah, it's interactive. It's a VR experience, but you can also do it on a computer. It's very cool.
Well, we'll check that out and we'll put it in the show
Yeah.
notes for today's show. Great. Well, we should get to your climate action, Aurora. We sort of hinted at that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us about your climate action?
Well, I thrift a lot, so that's my climate action. Most of the stuff I wear is thrifted, and it's very popular. Like, I'm not the only one who likes to thrift. It's very popular on TikTok and like YouTube and social media in general. I think it's just the vintage aspect of it. and it's very like one of a kind. Like say my jeans that I'm wearing right now. Let's see if I can show them. They're very nice jeans, and I thrifted them. And I always get compliments on my jeans and all the other items I have that I've thrifted. And it's honestly just a nice way to like make your outfits individual. Because when you go thrifting, you're not going to find the same thing over and over again like you would at like a department store. You find very individual for your own style articles of clothing. So it's very fun.
So you can find unique,
Yeah.
individual kind of stuff. This is the first time I've heard thrift used as a verb. I like that. Thrift. I like to thrift. We also thrift around here, and it also saves a lot of money too.
Yeah, it's very cheap, and it makes you feel better about what you wear. Because if I pay like a lot of money for a T-shirt, I feel kind of guilty wearing it. Because I'm like, oh, I spent $20 on this T-shirt. It's an okay shirt, and I feel better when I wear my thrifted stuff because I'm like, oh, this was someone's before me. I'm helping the environment by wearing these. You know?
Right. I was going to ask you about the environmental aspect. So using something that doesn't then get thrown away, is that how you see the environmental side of this?
Yeah.
Is there anything else about thrifting that you particularly enjoy?
I like the thrill of the hunt, per se. Like I like having an idea, like to find, oh, I really want a skirt. And then I go to like a whole bunch of thrift stores and I find the skirt. And it just makes you feel better. Because it's just boring going into like a department store and being like, oh, there's the skirt I wanted. Great. It's just funner to be like, have an adventure while you thrift.
You never know what you'll find,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it works out well, sometimes not so much.
Yeah. Luck of the draw.
Just before we wrap up today, Aurora, you mentioned at the beginning that some of your peers at school are a bit scared about climate change. In that milieu, what gives you hope today?
I guess the amount of people who are like environmentally focused, it makes me feel better. That are either older than me or younger than me who want to help the environment. Because like my mom, she'll come home from like a program and she'll tell me about all these amazing kids who care about the environment and want to help save the earth. It really fills your bucket. It makes you feel a lot better.
All right. And if we have some listeners out there who are very environmentally minded and want to abduct other people into their environmental world, do you have any recommendations on the best way to do that?
Go hiking. Go hiking or biking. Go to Banff or you're like a park anywhere. Go outside and have fun. That's what I would say.
Well, great advice from a wise young woman. Thank you very much for joining us today, Aurora.
No problem. Love to do it.
And thank you, dear listener. We will be back again next week, same time, same place, to hear from another climate action figure. Until then,
go figures. I don't know. I forget it.
You had it exactly right.
It was? Oh, it was that. Okay.
This has been Climate Action Figures. Our show is produced and hosted by John Whidden. Our creative consultant is Kayla McIntosh. Our theme song is Hawaii Vacation by Tavari. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Climate Action Figures. That's all one word. And if you have any other questions or comments that arose from this or any episode, feel free to reach out to us at climateactionfigures@gmail.com. And thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another Climate Action Figure.
Awesome. Is your mom still nearby?
Here, I can summon her.